Hey guys, welcome back to this week's edition of Rugby League Outlaws. Of course, we're brought to you as always by our great mates at Top Sport, onelittlefootyfan.com.au and the Stubby Club. As you may have noticed, the big man Terry is not with us. He's off on holidays. Hope you have fun, mate. We'll see you later in the show. So I've got someone just as good, some would say better, in our good mate Josh. Mate, thanks so much for joining us to talk some rugby league.
Mate, happy to be here. Can't wait.
Fellow Sharks fans, so only the best for the 3 or 4 people that actually watch this show each week. But let's get straight into it, Josh. Let's talk some football. The penultimate round, round 24. Of course, the big discussion, the head clash. Cohen Hess comes in from nowhere, collects Campbell Graham, a tackle that we've seen earlier in the season. What are your thoughts?
Look, as I did with the Dale Finucane tackle, I thought it was fine. I thought no penalty, play on, good hit. You know, this is what we watch rugby league for. There's big hits.
That's it. Head on head clashes.
It happens.
It happens. There's 3 or 4 of those since. Now, we made a thing of it, saying every head clash has got to be 2 weeks from now. Yep. The NRL have come out and said he's facing a 1-week suspension. That's
the thing I don't understand is I thought, okay, well, this is going to be 2 weeks. He's going to miss week 1 of the finals, hopefully versus us. That'd be great. And he's going to miss a useless game.
It's frustrating. All you want as a fan is consistency. So we've seen 2 tackles. Look, they're not exactly the same. What I kept seeing people online, which I take an issue with, is they said, well, Stephen Crichton lost half his ear. Okay, he got hurt in the same tackle. We've seen tackles end careers that otherwise have been innocuous. Where's the consistency?
Well, that's the thing is if Cohen Hess had taken someone's ear off, is he getting 2 weeks again, or is that the difference? Is an ear?
Well, yes.
And because Dale Finucane flew out and his arms went everywhere and he fell over and it looked dramatic, that's the difference between 2 weeks and 1. That's what I'm taking from it.
Look, Dale's looked worse in fast motion, but his was not even a penalty, yet Cohen Hess was sent off. Now, to be totally honest, I haven't seen the super slow motion, so I don't know if there was shoulder first. But my thinking is if it was shoulder first, that's 6 weeks, not 1.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've seen screenshots and it's in that realm of the Finucane thing where you couldn't quite tell. And that discrepancy between shoulder, head, shoulder, that's the issue. That we can't find an answer.
It's a bit frustrating stuff. Look, mate, you know me. If I'm inconsistent as all get out, yet I get annoyed with inconsistencies. Another thing that annoyed me this weekend, and trust me, there are plenty, Campbell Graham, in that very same incident, was knocked out pretty much cold. Head on head, clear head contact, leaves the field. I assume for HIA. Comes back 5 minutes later, turns out he didn't even get an assessment.
So did they even use a HIA interchange card?
No, because he was sin bin, they get a free interchange. They didn't need to.
This is the confusion that we have as fans, that we don't have a proper answer. We can't just sit here and go, this is why this happened and this is why that happened. There is no consistency. And we've said that all year. We've said it for years. Just consistency. If it's 2 weeks for one guy, it's 2 weeks for the other for the same incident.
Look, I 100% agree. Going back to the Campbell Graham, we saw just yesterday a similar, a little bit less contact incident. Jaden Campbell got hit, laid down. It wasn't a terrible shot by any stretch, but he collected him high. Lays down. The referee takes a look, says no. The bunker says play on. No penalty. 2 minutes later, he's getting pulled off for HIA. Consistency, mate. That's all I ask for. Fix the NRL for me, Josh.
Okay. Give me a couple $1 million and I'll do nothing just like the NRL are.
Now, something I've seen with South Sydney confirming officially their spot in the finals upcoming in a couple of weeks' time. The talk of Adam Reynolds, they let him go, took over their entire early season. Has the talk stopped? And were they correct in letting him go?
I say yes, and I have from the beginning. That I think South should feel very vindicated that they've made the right decision. They've got Lachlan Ilias there, a young half, good little player. He's only going to get better. Adam Reynolds, 32, 33, wanted a big contract. South rightly said, no, you're going to have, was it 1 year?
Yeah, one year.
1 year. That's a correct thing, and you go year by year. He's injured every second week.
It's true. Counterpoint, and I don't disagree with what you said. I think South have been vindicated. Would South have limped into the finals if they had Reynolds, or would they be pushing for a top 4 spot?
Well, it depends how injured he would have been. That's the problem with Reynolds, is that he breaks down consistently every year. Misses mid-games, which ruins the structure of the game. They have to bring on either a bench forward, and they've got to push a Cam Murray to 6 or something.
Good point.
So it's a difficult one because he is a good player. He is a great player. And that early season with Brisbane when they were flying was all because of him.
I'm glad you brought that up. Brisbane look like they're going to miss the finals now through fault of only their own. Does Adam Reynolds then, does year one become a failure if they do miss finals?
100%, especially considering from where they came from. They were fighting for the top 4 a couple of weeks ago. Now they're fighting for their season. It's out of their hands.
That's a good point, but last year they missed the finals by a long way. This year they're going to miss and they still can play finals football.
I think it's also, you've got Pat Carrigan who they missed last year through an ACL, who has become, an out-and-out superstar in the forward pack, who's also missing for the last few weeks with the
suspension.
Drop.
Yep.
So I think there's a lot of things going into it. Payne Haas playing well, and he's got a bung shoulder. So there are factors into why they're failing at the moment, but at the end of the day, they've paid big money for a halfback who is struggling physically.
Yeah, fair call. Look, let's talk about the Broncos. As you said a couple of weeks ago, they're in the talk for the top 4. You never really got the feeling that they were going to top the Storm and the like, but they were certs to make the top 8 2 weeks ago, to the point where I went on camera, and I swear people do this just to make me look stupid. I said there's no way in the world they can possibly miss out. Yet they enter this weekend either needing Canberra to lose to the Tigers, not going to happen, or they have to beat their upcoming opponents, or they have to beat the Dragons this week by about 80 points and hope that Canberra just beat the Tigers. What went wrong?
I guess you could say a number of things. Maybe that they front-loaded their season energy-wise, and that they came out of the blocks firing, and I think they were definitely overachieving. I mean, Kevin Walters couldn't coach, under sixes, let alone a first-grade team, and he's gotten away with having a really good roster, or, a good roster, carried by an Adam Reynolds. I think their number 6 issue has been sorted with that Ezra Mann. I think is a great little player. Tamari Martin missed a few weeks. Like their injuries added up, and their depth is an issue, but also they're pretty crap.
Average. We said average. You heard it. Average. Sticky with Kevin Walters. There's a report out just as we're hitting record that a couple of players haven't been named yet. I'm sure that'll come out later in the week. Doesn't really matter. Are a little bit put off by the fact they copped the spray this Thursday night. Do you think it was fair?
The spray?
Yeah.
Absolutely. When you get put 60 points last week, 50 odd this week, you don't think you expect a spray from your coach, who you've just bundled out basically of the finals, then to have a sook about getting smashed by your coach. I mean, I think that's really ordinary, and it shows the mentality of the side, and that's why they're not going to play finals this year.
Look, yeah, if I'm a fan of the Broncos, that'd be terrible, but also I'd be asking questions. Unless a very, very personal insult has been thrown that we aren't privy to, which, we weren't there. The players have got to cop that. They lost 113 to 18, I believe, over the last 2 weeks at home to fellow top 8 sides with their finals on the line. You just got to cop that.
Yeah, and I guess it shows that if you're going to make the finals, does that just happen again anyway? Do you get another 60 points put on your week 1 and you bundle out? Like, is it even worth it for them at this point?
They did it a couple of years ago to Parramatta, so that's a very good point. If they do squeak in, they'll probably play the Roosters or Souths week 1.
Oof.
They could cop 100. As Terry would say, get on the clock. So Josh, we're going to the Guru. You're a big fan, I believe.
Love Guru.
What do you got for us this week, mate?
G'day boys, thanks for having me on once again. What a cracking round 24 it was. Some huge games there. Brisbane Broncos, another massive loss. Interesting to see where they end up. 9th at the moment. The Canberra Raiders, a big win up there down there in the nation's capital, I should say. They've made their way into the top 8 now, so it'll be very interesting to see how it plays out in the last week. By some form of miracle, it looks like not many teams are going to rest players. Not many teams are going to be able to rest players. So we are in for a big round 25. The Melbourne Storm and the Parramatta Eels game, that's probably the most interesting one for me. The winner of that will finish in the top 4, and I think more than likely will play the Penrith Panthers in week 1. Speaking of the Penrith Panthers, they are the only real team I've got some news on for you. I'm hearing that a lot of those guys will be rested. It does make sense. They are going up to North Queensland, so I probably would be very tempted to rest a heap of guys there instead of going that hard trip up to a hot North Queensland against a pretty intense North Queensland Cowboys side as well. So I think the Penrith Panthers, they'll rest a heap. The Cowboys, they'll be needing a win here to lock up a home final. You've also got the Cronulla Sharks, who are taking on the Newcastle Knights. They'll be very keen to lock up a home final as well. It'll be interesting to see potentially if the Cowboys win their game and it means that the Sharkies can't then get a home final in finals week 1. Potentially you might see some restings there. But so much to happen in round 25. Great to see just about every single spot on the ladder outside of 1 is still up for grabs. So we're in for a massive week. I'm here in the Penrith Panthers. They will rest troops. Outside of that, I don't think you'll see many. And of course, Friday night, we have got the opening of Allianz Stadium, the new SFS with arch rivals, the South Sydney Rabbitohs and the Sydney Roosters going head-to-head. Will Damien Cook play? We're hearing there might be some changes to the COVID rules this week. Anthony Albanese, obviously a big South Sydney fan, so there'll be plenty of rumours there and another chapter added to the book of feuds. And Victor Radley, obviously pretty distressing scenes the other day. Will he play or won't he? I'd like to think that he probably won't in this game, but we'll let the medical professionals come up with that decision. And good luck being the guy that has to tell Victor Radley he can't play South Sydney at the opening of the new stadium on Friday night. Going to be very interesting. A cracking round 25 coming your way. And then we're into NRL finals. The business end, the bright lights. It's going to be sensational.
Ooh, he's always on the ball, that guru. Thank you so much, mate. Josh.
Talk to me, Dan.
It's time to talk some black, white and blue. What a weekend. You were there this week against the Bulldogs. Mate, I have my thoughts, which I'll save for now. What were your thoughts of the game? What was the crowd like?
Well, mate, the game was a bludger. Let's be honest. And I think the crowd, you could feel that in the crowd, that everyone was just waiting for us to put some plays together and score some points, and it just didn't come. And the frustration, the murmurs were seeping through.
You could hear it was audible. When Nico put that kick through and Ronaldo scored, I was like, cool, floodgates are open. We'll win by 40 now. I was waiting at home on the couch and I was unwell, so fair weather fan, shush. It just didn't happen. It was not a good game, but on the positive, we kept them to 0, and I don't know how it was there, I don't feel like we were ever going to concede a shot. No,
especially being there. You could just, like, the boys just, they seemed fine, like I get that, but I would have liked just a little more cohesion throughout the attacking. But the defence that's the best part of our game. We have the third best defence in the comp.
Yeah, right up there.
You know, so that's what wins your comps. And no one's going to remember this game in 5 weeks.
Nope.
But the 2 points are what matter.
100%. I want to go back to 2016, any opportunity. There were games there where we didn't blow teams away. Even during that stretch, there was only 2 or 3 games where we thumped teams late. We ground them down, they got tired, and we ran over the top. So people are saying, oh, this doesn't have the fluidity or the attacking genius of the 2016 team. We don't have peak Ben Barber in the form of his life. Yes, I 100% agree. But I would argue 16-0. There weren't many games in that run of like 1,000 games seemingly where we kept teams to 0. So I think we're very much on the right track.
Yeah, I think we're defensively a much better unit than we were in 2016. The attack still, it's a work in progress. We're still first year and we're ahead of where we thought we'd be, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, did you think we're going to be potentially second in the second last round?
No.
No. I thought probably 6-7 at best.
Well, we said 7th.
4th was my ceiling.
Yep.
And we've smashed through it.
Absolutely. Now we are second. Thank you for mentioning it. It's in our own hands now. We play Newcastle. The talk is Penrith are going to send a relative reserve grade team to play North Queensland. We'll talk about it in a minute, but in the New South Wales Cup, they have to play this weekend, so they're going to decide which is more important, resting players or getting through to a shot at Newtown for the grand final. But again, much more on that later. So the Cowboys probably going to beat Penrith. Leaving it all up to us Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m, Newcastle, an away game. Can we get the job done, and by how many?
Well, the thing is, we have the advantage of playing on that Sunday, so we know exactly what we need to do. If we need to win, we can go in and go gold guns blazing and smash them by 40, which I think we will. But if we don't need to win, we have that opportunity to rest a few players.
Do you rest players?
I personally would play the Jets.
Yep.
But I watched the post-match press conference with Fitz, and I got the sense that he is going to play most of the team. Just the way he spoke and the way he worded things, I got that sense for sure.
That's a fair call. Cohesion is very important.
That's the word he used. He used word cohesion.
Great minds think alike, mate. My hair's going the way of Sir Fitz too. But the Newtown Jets, of course, minor premiers, Newtown Jets don't play next week, so we can do that if we want. Nico Hines is sitting favourite for the Dally M. Now, in my own totally unofficial and totally biased count, I have him 4 points clear of Ben Hunt. He's the Dally M medalist. He didn't poll this week, either did Ben Hunt, full disclosure. If they have got something that says, you know, Nico's leading by 2 or he's even, do you play him for the individual honour or do you rest him for week 1 of the finals?
Look, I would leave that to Fitz, but personally, I would rest him because we need him. We cannot win the comp without him. Him and Moylan, obviously, I know that it's obvious to say, a crucial part of our attack. Moylan arguably probably more of a centrepiece, but Hines directing the attack, directing the play, goal kicking, general kicking. He's just so important to what we do. So I would rest him, but again, I would probably rest the entire 1 to 17.
Look, that's the mature thing to do, which is exactly why I wouldn't. I want to rub it into Twitter. Nico, play, man of the match, Dally M medalist. Now, Josh, being there, unfortunately I wasn't there to see Andrew Fafita and Aidan Tolman's hopefully not last home game, but officially their last home game. What was the atmosphere like? I know the minute sounded great, the applause for Fafita.
Yeah, that was actually really good. I wasn't sure how that was going to be received by the crowd, but that 68th minute came up and then the entire crowd stood and applauded. Even my mate came down who was a Dragons fan. He gave a little clap. It was really special and it was like really bittersweet to see, like, I've been watching Fafita literally run out for 11 years at Shark Park and all around, you know, the country. And for that to be potentially the last time that I'll ever see him at Shark Park was really emotional, actually. And you could see it on his face and Tolman's as well that, you know, I think he realised that this could be it. And it was really good, though. The club did a really good job, actually. Looked
really good from TV. The banners are great. I love that they did mention Tolman as well because he's a bloke with 300 plus games. He should have played for New South Wales. Like, I have no doubt. He was right there or thereabouts. He's got a bit of he's a toiler in the last few years. Completely unfair to his early seasons at the Bulldogs of Melbourne. He was great. He's done everything we've asked of him. I was not shocked, maybe surprised to see that he pulled stumps.
Yeah, I thought the way he spoke earlier in the year that he felt really good, but maybe that's what you want to go out on top. You know, if he'd gone a year too long and then we're all bagging him out, maybe, I don't know.
That's a good point. Plus, look, to be totally honest, probably doesn't make 17 next year with Kafusi coming in. I think he's tying it per. I think as has Fafita. If he wants to go earn 800 grand playing wherever next year, best of luck to him. On the opposite end of the career though, Kyle Aero, the youngster, the one that we've been calling for a debut for a long, long time. What'd you make of his performance?
Look, on the surface you would have said possibly disappointing with 5 errors to his name, but looking back, watching the game again and looking at the stats, 180 odd metres on debut, 12 or 13 tackle busts.
Real good. Top the game, I believe.
Beat the first man, you know, in the second half, especially he was at my end. Every time, first man he would beat, swivel, dive, get a couple of metres. Like, he fought tooth and nail and he really put in a decent performance, I think, taking those errors away. Yeah,
and he's debutant. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I agree 100% with what you said. A few early errors. The first play, it'll always be remembered for him to knock on. Okay, doesn't matter. What I like seeing though, and I watched this with my brother and we noticed it straight away, is the boys ran over to him. High fives, head, you know, it's okay, don't worry about it. In the second half, he makes a tackle where it looked like they were one-on-one. You know, a player with more.
That was in my corner. That was right in front of me. And my friend came through and said, gee, you hit him hard.
Hit him hard, right? Never even looked. Threw him into the first row and the boys all ran over. And that was the spot where I said, okay, his debu's a good one.
Yep.
It's a positive one. Okay, he made some errors. It happens. Like you said, broke 1,000 tackles, ran for a heap of metres. Dare I say he's got a bit of the old Valentine Holmes about him.
Oh, yeah. Runs like him. It's a swivel. He's got that hip swivel and he looks like him too. He's got the haircut.
He certainly does look like him. Look, we don't want to put any pressure on him. He's half the player. Val is absolutely fantastic. But what I do want to do is take a moment to talk about my second favourite team.
Okay.
The mighty Newtown Jets, who wrapped up the minor premiership with a 80th minute penalty goal. It was literally after the siren. Harodi, big favourite on the show here, kicked the goal. Not once have I bagged him or said he was going to miss.
No.
Not once. Brilliant. This was a team that was Sands, Miller, Dykes, Ero, Trindle. Even Metcalf was withdrawn late. You know, Ero's playing his first game. They threw Colhoun in late, which I thought was really good. So they did have some players, Pele coming off the bench, but this was a genuine Newtown side with Billy Magoulias at 6. He's our 4th strength, number 6. A couple of minutes to go, game seemingly lost. People in the crowd crying into their micro brews. Billy Magoulias takes the ball off to Vita Pangai Jr. We go down and win the game. Billy, Big Game Billy is what we're going to call him.
Doesn't he love it?
Newtown
loves a big
Jets
moment.
legend. So, mate, I'm looking forward to another player I've never bagged ever.
No, never.
So, congrats to the Newtown Jets. You absolutely deserve it. It's fantastic. Couple of weeks they play at Cogra. They'll host a grand final qualifier at Cogra. We'll be there. We'll see you all there, and up the Jets. Josh,
Talk to me, Dan.
it's time for some top sport tips. Who needs Terry? You and I are going to pick a perfect round between us this week. Although coming off the perfect round, so it's going to be, no pressure or anything. But
Okay.
round 25, some implications, some big implications at both ends of the table. There's a night footy. Top 4 is on the line. Parramatta Eels, Melbourne Storm. Could not write a better script. Josh, who wins and who finishes in the top 4?
I think Melbourne. They love this. End of season, top 4 on the line, finals around the corner, big game players. Can't see them losing.
If there's one thing Parramatta hate, it's pressure. I can't remember a big win, like a genuinely big win. I'm not talking, Friday, against South, which is always a big win. But I can't remember winning a big high-stakes game. And I agree with you. I can't see them winning here, which is at odds with something I said a couple of weeks ago. I said Parramatta may finish top 4, Melbourne are gone. I'm with you. I'm not going to tip against Craig Bellamy.
No, not at this time of year.
Danny boy, it's time for some top sport tips now. I know you're there with Josh and you're going to do really well on the tips, but probably not like we do. We got another perfect round last week. I don't think you're going to get that because Josh is there. It's probably going to ruin the flow a little bit. But let's start off with my first game that I have to pick. And of course, that game is the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs against the Manly Warringah Seagulls. Look, this is going to be a tough game. Neither of these sides are in good form. The Dogs didn't score a point against the Sharks. The Seagulls shouldn't have scored a point against the Sharks the week before. Managed a couple of tries against Canberra, but they're not in good form. Their defence is shot to pieces. Flip side for the Dogs, their defence hasn't been too bad. Apart from the Warriors game, it's the lack of points now. When they started under Mick Potter, they were scoring points for fun. Now they're not. Their attack's dried up. Matt Burton has got to do more than just hoof up a bomb. He was really, really disappointing against the Sharks. Didn't run the ball, didn't do anything apart from kick the ball on the 5th tackle. Didn't look to create anything. And you got to understand that teams that jam and compress and take away Josh Addo-Carr from him, what's Matt Burton got to do? This is the evolution of him now. We need to figure out what he is about. I think the Dogs will beat the Seagulls. I think they'll take them comfortably just because the Dogs' defence is a little bit better. You don't know who Manly are going to rest. You don't know who the Dogs are going to rest. But I'm going to pick the Dogs to win this game. Finish their season on a high, a little bit of momentum going into next year. New coach, new players. Dogs for mine.
And after that absolute cesspool of a game comes the main event for mine. The opening of the new Allianz Stadium, Shark Park 2.0, I believe they're calling it. Sydney Roosters, the South Sydney Rabbitohs. This game means everything.
I cannot wait for this game. Sold out crowd, new stadium, everything on the line. Two clubs that hate each other. Yeah. I'm going to go the Chookies. I think they're playing really good footy at the moment. They've timed their run as usual to perfection because Trent Robinson knows how to coach rugby league.
He certainly does. On the other side though, South Sydney are coming good. Now they did lose to Cronulla and to Penrith. I see them losing here too. I'm going to go the Chooks. This crowd is going to be humongous. We got so many mates that don't care about either of these teams going just for the occasion.
Oh, yeah.
I was close.
Geez, I've been stitched up on these games. I've got to pick. The next one's the Warriors and the Titans. Look, if I'm a punter, I'm not even watching this game. I'm not going to worry about it. Two teams that have been arguably two of the most disappointing in the competition. The Gold Coast Titans were in the top 8 last year and are lucky that the West Tigers exist. Otherwise, they would have a wooden spoon to hang up. And the New Zealand Warriors, look, they're back home now. They've got to rebuild for next year. They've got to refocus. They will do that. New coach, new structure, back at home in their comfort. I don't know who to pick in this game. So, Dan, I'm going to go with you because I know you have to pick the Titans. I'm probably going to pick the Gold Coast Titans for this. I just feel they're playing a little bit better footy. The ladder's not going to show it. The results aren't going to show it. But they've had 2 wins recently, got themselves off the bottom of the table. Probably a little bit of momentum now. A little bit too late. If there's another 20 weeks in the competition, they may get 10th, but I'll take the Titans in this one.
The midway game, the forgotten game, the middle child game, the St George Illawarra Dragons host the Brisbane Broncos with the season on the line. Don't know where it's at. It's a lotto with their 15 stadiums. Can the Broncos do enough to get in the finals?
No, they can't. The Dragons will win this game.
straight out beat them.
Yeah, they will. They will. I like Cody Ramsey at fullback. I think he offers a lot. He's quick, nimble. He's tough actually, and he's got a haircut now, so doesn't look like such an idiot.
Can't bag on him. I love it. Cody, big fan of the show.
Lomax loves a catch in the air off a kick.
Yeah, he does. He had a real good weekend.
He had a good game this weekend, yeah.
He's approaching good end of year form. He's smoky for the World Cup. I'm not willing to go that far.
Not yet.
Just yet. But he's the kind of player that can fit in. I'm going to go Brisbane for the simple fact that the last game of the round of the year is Canberra and the Tigers. It's going to be a bludger, and I need it to mean something.
Okay.
So Brisbane, please win for my sake and the sake of everyone this weekend. I'm not confident, though, at all. I think the Dragons might get them.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, look, the next game, North Queensland Cowboys against the Penrith Panthers, should have been billed as an absolute cracker. Cowboys need to win this game to have a chance of finishing second. The Penrith Panthers have the minor premiership won, done and dusted. And on that note, it's been announced that the Panthers will rest up to 13 players. So the Cowboys are going to get a training run against a New South Wales Cup side this weekend. Look, disappointing as it is, I'm going to pick the Cowboys to win this game. They're back home. It's a weakened Penrith team, a very, very weakened Penrith team we're going to see. Cowboys for mine, they should win it comfortably and give themselves every opportunity to finish second.
Now the actual main event of the weekend. Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. Second spot on the line. We expect the Cowboys to win. Regardless, this is the game we need to win. Newcastle will host us. Old Boys Day. They have beaten us on Old Boys Day before. It was in the 80s, but it happened. Can they double up this week?
No, they can't. The Sharks will win by plenty regardless of the side we run out. We're too good.
Everything inside me says the Sharks will mess this up, except Sir Fitz has proven he's better than that. I think the Sharks win. I think Sharks win well. The Knights are going to miss Dominic Young, who looks like a rib injury. Anthony Milford's checked out. They're going to be full flat chat, putting a side out. I think Cronulla run right. I think we play the Heroes. We keep Miller there, whether Dykes is fit. We're in finals ready, but not finals yet. Although I do expect Ikitavalu to come back in if he's fully fit. This is a huge game for us in that we need to win as long as we win with no injuries.
No injuries is all I care about. Even if we have to lose for no injuries, would you take that?
I would, yes.
Yeah.
I think we beat the Cowboys anywhere at full strength. This can't be a game where we lose like a Victor Radley we saw injured,
Yes.
in horrible circumstances. So, I know you can't go up there thinking of that. If we can rest players, if the Cowboys have lost the night before, run the Jets out, doesn't matter. They need a game before their prelim anyways. So, Sharks for me.
Look, the last game that I am reviewing is the West Tigers against the Canberra Raiders. Look, you say no more. The Tigers wooden spoon bound, Raiders finals bound. If they win this game, they'll win it well. The Raiders forwards are going to be too much. Their backline's going to be too much. Jamal Fogarty's playing really, really good footy at the moment. I understand the Tigers should have had a win on the weekend. It wouldn't have taken them off the bottom of the ladder anyway. They need to win this game and overcome an 80-point deficit. They're not going to do it. Wooden spoon is theirs. Raiders for mine in a heartbeat.
Hey everyone, thanks again for joining us, Rugby League Outlaws. Big shout out to Josh, who far surpassed Terry in every single way. Of course, we're here every week on Punctured Media. Make sure you jump on, like, subscribe. And of course, our great mates, Top Sport, onelittlefootyfan.com.au and the Stubby Club. Big thanks to them as always. Look, bash me in the comments, leave Josh alone. He's worn this yellow shirt with grace. He's added some class to this. Mate, look, is there anything you want to add?
Just Rugby League, baby!
That is so annoying.